Joe Biden promised to deliver 100 million vaccine doses into the arms of Americans in 100 days. And we are, I am thrilled to say, on track to dramatically surpass that. And at the same time, we are seeing coronavirus cases continue to decline very quickly, faster than many people expected. So let's run through the numbers. Then I have other COVID updates. We did this each of the last few weeks. I didn't think that many people would actually like this, but it turns out a lot of people aren't following the day-to-day of what's going on with the virus, understandably. And a ton of people wrote in saying, actually, the summaries are useful in terms of where we are. So let's jump right in with one disclaimer. I'm going to give a lot of optimistic news in this segment. It should not be used to encourage us to stop being careful. The optimistic news should tell us, let's keep being careful, not go crazy. And if we do that, then there is hopefully a light at the end of the tunnel. And yes, I will address the variants, of course. All right, so let's start with cases. Coronavirus cases on average peaked on January 11th at about 255,000 cases per day, an insane number. The good news is that since that peak, cases have declined a whopping 64%, where we are now averaging 92,000 cases per day. Now, this is all perspective. At one point a year ago, when Dr. Fauci said, not a year ago, 8 months ago, 7 months ago, when Dr. Fauci said, if we aren't careful, we could get up to 100,000 cases per day in the fall. And a whole bunch of people said that's impossible. And of course, Dr. Fauci was right. We weren't careful. And we actually got not to 100,000 cases a day, not to 200,000 cases a day. We actually had 300,000 cases a day. We had 300,000 cases on one day in the fall. We are now back down to 92,000 cases per day. But what matters is the rate of decline, down 64% in just 35 days. You love to see it. Let's keep it going. Now, in the meantime, deaths, which lag cases by 3 to 4 weeks, are finally starting to come down, peaking at an average of about 3,500 deaths a day in the United States, 20% more than a 9/11 a day, now down 25% to a daily average of about 2,600 deaths per day. Still an unconscionable, horrifying number. But we are seeing the improvement, and the improvement in deaths should track the decline in cases as well, with about a 3 to 4 week lag. Now, to vaccination. Joe Biden promised 1 million doses a day. The U.S. is now exceeding that by a full 2/3, with 1 2/3 million vaccine doses per day going into people's arms, with again new record days this weekend. 2.2 million doses administered on Saturday, 2.2 million doses administered on Sunday. These are fantastic numbers, but they are not enough, because at the current rates, we wouldn't hit 50% immunity until June 28th. We wouldn't reach 70% immunity, a key number, until September 5th. So as I've said before, I didn't come up with this. Medical experts did. The ideal would be to get to 3.5 million doses per day. That would dramatically accelerate our progress. It's not impossible that we would get there with a third vaccine, and hopefully with a fourth vaccine. Now, let's talk about vaccines and variants. Once again, we continue to learn more and more about this. We have 2 vaccines currently in use in the United States, the Moderna vaccine and the Pfizer vaccine. These are both 2-dose vaccines. With Moderna, you have 28 days between doses. With Pfizer, you have 21 days between doses. Okay, we are close to approval for a third vaccine, the Johnson & Johnson vaccine. That is a 1-dose vaccine that will dramatically simplify logistics and could get us to 2.53 million vaccines a day regularly. Fourth vaccine has the possibility of getting us to 3.5 million vaccines a day. Meanwhile, what we know about the effectiveness of these vaccines is stunning. It's not a miracle, it's science, so I don't want to use the word miracle, but the numbers appear almost miraculous. Israel has done an incredible job with vaccination. They're already vaccinating younger people. And the deal they made with Pfizer is that they will open up their data so Pfizer can get more information about how the vaccine works in reality. One study of the vaccinated Israeli population found that in the real world, the vaccine has 94% efficacy at preventing symptomatic disease and a 92% drop in severe disease. Listen to these numbers. A study of 525,000 vaccinated Israelis found only 500 of them got the virus. That's 0.1%. 525,000 people, 500 get the virus with the vaccine. And that was including some of them got it between doses. They weren't yet at full immunity. Of the 500 people that got the virus, 4 of the 500 had what you would call a serious case. 4. And none of them died. These are incredible, incredible numbers. The vaccine appears to be as good in real life as it was in the phase 3 trials. Now, it's not all great news. We are in a fight against these variants that are spreading. The good news in that fight is that the Moderna and Pfizer vaccines appear really effective against the UK variant and the Brazilian variant, and they appear less but still quite effective against the South Africa variant. It's just a matter of speed. The faster we vaccinate, the more we prevent mutation, the more we prevent the spread of the variants, which are slightly stronger against the vaccine. If you imagine the variants in a fight against the vaccines, and the more we can control this. So if we can keep this going, we are going to have a very different situation statistically in the United States by April 1st, and again, a different situation by May 1st. If we can get beyond 1 2/3 million vaccines a day, if we can get to 2.5 steady or 3, we are looking at moving up the date at which 70% of the country will be vaccinated from early September into August, possibly even into July, or according to some models, even late June, if we can really quickly ramp up vaccination. So let's keep tracking numbers. The milestone I'm next looking for is when we get under 50,000 cases per day. That might only be weeks away. If we can keep going, it could be longer. We will soon see. And fortunately, vaccine hesitancy, I won't dive into that a lot now because we did that last week. Vaccine hesitancy also continues to go down. All good things. We are hoping also for approval on the vaccination of kids, 10, 12, 14 years old by early summer, optimistically. And that will also be a big factor. So a lot of good things happening. Not the time to go crazy. Not the time to go crazy. Light at the end of the tunnel. We see it. If you ever feel like you just don't have enough time to read all the books you want to read, you have to check out one of my favorite apps called Blinkist. Blinkist takes thousands of popular nonfiction books and distills each one down into an ebook or audiobook that you can get through in just 15 minutes, where you're getting all the key takeaways from the book. Just imagine how you'll be able to expand your horizons and knowledge by being able to soak up all of the important insights from 10 different books in an afternoon. Obviously, it's perfect for exposing yourself to a new book you otherwise wouldn't have time for, or you can use it to revisit a book you've already read, or use it to preview a book before you buy the full version and read it. I recently read A Brief History of Time, of course, by the great Stephen Hawking. This is a book that I have been aware of for so long, and other things got in the way, and it was fantastic to check it out on Blinkist. Blinkist has books on politics, philosophy, science. They have 27 different nonfiction categories, and a subscription is only about $8 a month, and you get the entire library. But you can try it totally free and get 25% off a subscription when you go to Blinkist.com/Pakman. I've put the link right underneath this video.